the end of the day, it's just what happens at the end of the night. I'm not in there to try and knock Jake out in 10 seconds or 8 rounds. I'm going to go in there and do a job. I'm going to want to hurt him. You know, I'm going to want to really hurt him in the ring. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm here to do.
Anthony Joshua reacted to Jake Paul's latest training clips by pointing out how Paul's confidence has crossed into clear overconfidence. Joshua explained that Jake believed in himself so strongly that he genuinely thought challenging a heavyweight champion was a smart idea. To Joshua, the fact that Paul felt ready to face him only showed how disconnected Jake is from the reality of elite-level boxing.
There are levels to boxing, and if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin?
Former heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz offered Jake Paul advice shaped by his own journey in boxing. Ruiz urged Jake to stay grounded, trust himself, and avoid letting fear take over as the fight with Anthony Joshua approaches. He emphasized that confidence is essential when stepping into the ring with a dangerous heavyweight, because hesitation can ruin a fighter's performance before a single punch is thrown. Ruiz spoke from deep experience, especially from the time when almost no one believed he could defeat Joshua in 2019. Yet he shocked the world with a stunning upset. His message to Jake wasn't that self-belief guarantees victory, but that fear is the fastest way to collapse under pressure. Facing someone with Joshua's size, power, and precision demands mental stability just as much as physical preparation. Ruiz's advice underscored how courage and clarity are crucial if Jake hopes to withstand a challenge of this magnitude.
He would have struggled in some aspects, but I think he would have got the victory.
I think you're going to have got the victory.
Yes, I do, because of his counter-punching ability. So I think he would have, you know how he done with Frank Martin, kept his tight guard, took some shots on the gloves, figured out his distance, and then...
Commentator Aries Spears spoke bluntly about the imbalance in the matchup. He said that if Anthony Joshua somehow lost to Jake Paul, many people would instantly assume the fight was staged because the difference in size and pedigree is too great to ignore. Spears wasn't directly accusing anyone. He was highlighting how unbelievable a Joshua loss would seem to the public. In his view, Joshua's experience, power, and background make defeat against Paul almost unimaginable. His comment reflected just how extreme the mismatch appears to many fans.
Well, Jake and Logan, first of all, are fantastic athletes. You know what Logan does with the WWE and what Jake does with boxing. He knocks people out and everything. And they both have massive fan bases. And for me, it's great to see people get young people that follow them that didn't have they don't remember Ali or Joe Frazier or whatever. It's not in their wheelhouse. So it's great to see them developing fight fans and a big fight atmosphere. So it's very exciting.
These two stood face to face, and the comment section on the internet was going crazy. They were like, call the ambulance now, basically. Anthony Joshua looks dangerous standing next to him.
Anthony Joshua is, at this time, and has been for years, the biggest puncher in boxing. He's a devastating puncher. So I got to give Jake a lot of credit for wanting to take this fight.
Yeah, it's not. A lot of people saying it's not smart. If he somehow was able to surprise the world, what does this do for him?
The word would be surprised if he shocked the world. But that's exactly why you got to give him credit. He wants to do it. He trains hard, he works hard, and he has a lot of faith in himself. So we'll see what happens.
Technically, though, what's the biggest concern for you? What's the biggest tip you can give Jake, knowing that you've watched Anthony so many times?
Boxing analyst Joey Knight highlighted that Jake Paul's decision to fight Anthony Joshua appears driven more by business strategy than by competitive rationales. Knight explained that Paul understands how high-profile bouts against renowned fighters attract massive global attention and generate substantial revenue, regardless of the fight's outcome. He noted that Jake has a solid grasp of the financial side of modern boxing, adept at leveraging media, social platforms, and audience engagement to maximize profits. However, Knight cautioned that financial incentives don't erase the very real physical risks involved. With Joshua's power, experience, and technical skill, he is one of the most formidable opponents Paul could face. Knight emphasized that the danger is amplified because Paul might underestimate just how severe it is to step into the ring with a seasoned heavyweight who has consistently faced world-class opposition. Beyond the glamour, viral marketing, and massive paychecks, Knight warned that the fight could have career-altering consequences if Paul fails to fully respect the magnitude of the challenge and the risks inherent in confronting such a dominant fighter.
A lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays. Whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag? Or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with loads.
Former cruiserweight champion Johnny Nelson expressed serious concern about what might happen to Jake Paul if he suffers a brutal stoppage in this fight. Nelson pointed out that Paul has become a major financial draw in boxing, often offering big payouts to secure bouts with well-known opponents. However, he warned that a severe knockout could damage both Jake's physical well-being and his long-term marketability. Nelson also noted the rise of conspiracy theories suggesting Paul might not return to major events if the defeat is too devastating. To him, this matchup is a turning point that could either elevate Paul's career or bring his momentum to a halt entirely.
I'm stuck in between because nobody on this green earth would actually turn down 50, 60 million to fight Jake Paul. And people that don't like this will probably watch it because they want to see Jake Paul getting knocked out. So what's it say about AJ and what's it say about Jake Paul? I think I was thinking upside down. For AJ, I thought, Mama's cashing out. He's cashing out because he's going down this mimic line. But I thought, in reality, is he? Realistically, he's thinking, you know what? This big mouth YouTuber stroke boxer has the cheek to call me out. I'd be pissed off at that, if I'm honest with you. I'd be upset if I was AJ, thinking, that's disrespect, man. You think you can deal with me? But he didn't. AJ was jovial and he commended Jake Paul's business acumen, saying, we've sat down, the deal's been done. But still, it just leaves an odd taste in your mouth. So as long as AJ gets the job done, and I mean gets the job done, shows his world-class pedigree, and wipes this boy out, then everybody's happy. But how does it enhance his career? The only way it enhances his career is financially. That's it. No other way. There's no props from beating Jake Paul, apart from saying, thank God you shut him up. For Jake Paul now, I got to give this boy props because he now has our attention and the whole world is talking about Jake Paul. I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Bet Goodwin, for supporting That Boxing Show. Now, if you're interested in having a little flutter, or as I call it after my dad, Benji's Bets, Bet Goodwin's the place to be. Check out Bet Goodwin using the QR code on the screen. I'm probably all right. I'm probably 90% thinking the fight's going to happen. But I'm struggling. I'm thinking, this boy can't be so stupid. But then you hear a whisper. You hear a whisper that Jake Paul himself might be cashing out. because the big purses that he's pulling, you know, fighting these has-beens or ex-fighters, you know, they're dropping slowly but surely. So maybe, just maybe, this might be his last fight, getting in there with Anthony Joshua and getting knocked out. But there's always that conspiracy theory. Are there some contract agreements that can and cannot be done, which will never see the light of day that we don't know about? Well, if you're an ex-fighter and if you like the fight game, you'll see fake. You'll know fake when you see it. So if there's any of that fakery going on with this, pulling a shot, taking it easy, giving man a bit of a breather, especially coming from AJ, I'd be disappointed.